Hi, Market Insights watchers and Market Roundup. US job numbers defy the odds. We'll talk more about that. In tech megatrends, a new study showcases the most promising artificial intelligence startups for 2024 and details in which AI technology, big name investors are injecting their cash in these type of companies. And we'll follow the money and actually share stock tickers. So please stay tuned for that. And in Crypto Corner, Ian will share the latest developments in crypto, especially as Bitcoin's having fast approaches. He'll also touch on Coinbase Layer 2, and he was just telling me we're going to talk about game theory, so get your game theory hats on. And also, please remember to like and subscribe to his YouTube channel. We appreciate that. The Banyan Hill YouTube channel. Let's get to it. Hi there, Ian. Welcome back. How are you?
Oh, thanks, Amber. It's good to be back. It was a nice little refreshing week off, spending some time with family. How are you?
Doing fine, doing fine. Glad to be here. And
how's your bracket looking, by the way?
it imploded on game one.
Yeah.
Didn't do well.
Well, you're a better stock picker than sports better. I'll give you that. Amber, I I'm a sports fan, casually. I'm not like fully devoted to it, but I gotta tell you, I've been more interested in the women's basketball tournament this year than the men's. Like, there's really something special happening, with the play of Caitlin Clark. It's like kind of like must-watch TV. And I was reading, Amber, that the ratings for the women's March Madness was like higher than the NBA Finals last year and higher than the World Series. It's pretty incredible, and as a girl dad right now, it's something that I just really love to see as well.
Oh, you never know. You may be there soon, Ian, in the years to come. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the height to be basketball players, but
you don't need the height. In my high school, we had a really famous female basketball player who made it all the way to state championships and won, and she was only 5'4" or 5'5".
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Oh,
Oh,
impressive.
isn't
All
that
right.
Okay, everyone, in Market Roundup, March U.S. jobs numbers are in, and they show quote unquote participation up, employment up, and the unemployment rate down. So U.S. payrolls rose in March by the most in almost a year, while the unemployment rate dropped, showing a strong labor market continues to fuel the U.S. economy. Non-farm payrolls grew 303,000 last month, exceeding all expectations. The unemployment rate fell to 3.8% as more people joined the actual workforce, with labor force participation rising to 62.7%. Meanwhile, the household survey saw an astounding 498,000 increase in employment following a continuous drop over the previous 3 months. And the top industries that saw the most job growth were healthcare, government, leisure and hospitality, and construction. And in fact, employment in leisure and hospitality rose 49,000, returning to its pre-pandemic February 2020 level. Bloomberg notes this rise was driven by baby boomers spending. And I can attest, I have some friends who are heading on the cruise ship as I speak. So you never know. Becky Frankenwitz, president of Manpower Group North America, states, quote, "Our real data shows signs of a Goldilocks labor market. Hiring is slightly hotter than last year at this time, cooler than last month, and warmer than pre-pandemic. And this demonstrates remarkable resilience given the economic uncertainty we're experiencing right now." And lastly, as reported by Bloomberg, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said last Wednesday that labor supply and demand are in a healthier balance, in part due to more immigration. And in all, it appears policymakers are in no rush to lower rates. Future econ data will guide their decisions. And Ian, I know you'll talk about that. I have a chart here for rate cut bets. They're now showing that September rate cuts are fully priced in rather than July. So we're moving that needle a little bit farther out. So what do you think there, Ian?
Well, thank you for the update. Lots to digest there. I do agree. It seems like something we've been talking about, where, everyone was worried if it was going to be a soft landing or a hard landing. It just feels like the plane isn't landing, right? And, you know, uh, you hope that the plane isn't a Boeing if it's going to continue flying. Sorry for the terrible reference, but it just feels like the economy is continuing to trug along, and we came into this year with forecasts of about 7 rate cuts. Now it's down to about three, and the 3 rate cuts are kind of hanging on a very loose thread here. We could see two priced into the futures market very soon. But at the same point, yeah, we sort of have this Goldilocks thing going where the economy's not too hot, the jobs market isn't overheating, inflation isn't ramping back up just yet. But we also, it's not cooling enough for the Fed to start cutting rates. I still think the narrative of, this is that rates have peaked and eventually they will come down is still in play. But I also want to note something too, Amber. We've had a pretty long stretch. I think the last time we had a 2% sell-off in the S&P 500 was February 2023. And
Hmm.
from the research I've seen, this is about the 12th longest streak of a market rally without a 2% pullback. So, I think between here and some point, we're going to have a pullback in the market, but I do think it's going to be a viable pullback because I think that people are going to start to worry about the Fed not being able to cut and that the economy being, set for a bigger crash in the future because rates have to remain high. That rates will remain high. And then I think we'll see a sell-off in the market, which is typical in bull markets. You do have pullbacks along the way, but I think it's going to be a buying opportunity to get in and invest in some more of these quality names that have been really running lately.
I think that's such prudent to note, and Bible pullbacks, perfect way to reference that. So
Mhm.
there's always optimism there. Okay, so in tech megatrends, a new report from CB Insights showcases the most promising artificial intelligence startups of 2024, and it details in which AI technology big name investors are injecting their cash. So let's follow the money. In the US, startups like Atomic Industries, Rosebud AI, and Shield AI are receiving notable interest from investors. Atomic Industries, which sees the future of manufacturing as AI powered, is developing AI for tools that are die making type tools in the manufacturing market. So Atomic Industries is backed by venture arms of Porsche, Yamaha, and Toyota. A Rosebud AI, a text to game generation startups, lets users create video games with words. And Rosebud is actually backed by OpenAI's co-founders. And Shield AI is a defense technology company building the world's best artificial intelligence pilot. Speaking of planes there, Ian, but we're talking about drones here. Its AI pilot technology, HiveMind, is the first and only autonomous AI pilot deployed since 2018. Like a human pilot, quote, HiveMind reads and reacts to the battlefield and does not require GPS, waypoints, or communications to make decisions. Now, Shield AI is backed by investors like NVIDIA and Point72. And if you're a Strategic Fortune subscriber, you may have read about Shield AI in your April 2nd weekly written update. And if you haven't had a chance to read it yet, please do check it out. Shield AI has partnered with a defense company recommended in our Strategic Fortunes model portfolio. That company, I'll give the ticker, Ian. It's okay. It's Kratos, and the ticker is KTOS.
Mhm.
So Kratos is about 28% up since being recommended. And also in our defense model portfolio, we have a company that's up 31% since being recommended. And this company has a business segment that focuses on tech like artificial intelligence enabled designs that Ian believes could gain 82% by next year, which is really amazing. So if you're not yet a Strategic Fortunes member, please make sure to join us so that you can be invested in companies that are at the forefront of the artificial intelligence revolution. Please click the bull icon right here over my shoulder to get those details or to link accompanying this email. So I thought that was really neat to see that how our companies that you're recommending, Ian, are tied together with
Mhm.
this list from CBI Insights.
Yeah, thank you for that update. And I just want to stress and help people understand that every new technology we've seen has some military application
Mhm.
that will benefit whatever company can get to it the fastest, right? And so, you can think about how, the automobile revolutionized the way that we fought wars because we were able to build tanks. The steam engine led to having ships and naval fleets. So,
Right.
going all the way back to like the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, the countries and the nations that were able to capitalize on these new technologies were, the great empires that we knew of. And I just want to say something about AI because there's a big announcement today where a Taiwan Semiconductor is getting more grants and loans from the United States, and they're building 3 fabricator plants in the United States. We've heard about this, the chip war that's going on, obviously, with China.
Right.
The news today, though, is that Taiwan Semi is going to start manufacturing 2 nanometer chips in the US by 2028. Now, they're going to be building 2 nanometer chips in Taiwan in 2025, 3 years sooner. But the fact that we're moving some of that production to the United States and away from Chinese hands
Mm.
is a major benefit to United States and the future of AI because you need these type of chips to have higher layers of AI, levels of AI. And in order to produce all that type of AI equipment on the battlefield that we are going to be needing, not to fight future wars, but also to deter them. So you can think of it as a deterrent, as much as something that makes us military ready. So that announcement today with Taiwan Semi ties in nicely to what you're saying about how Kratos is using AI on the battlefield with Shield
Amazing.
AI.
The shield AI, exactly. Oh, Ian, so much going on. So tell us in crypto, I know you're covering major things there. Tell us.
So
Coinbase.
two big things I want to talk about this week. First, um, let's talk about Coinbase. Now, Coinbase has over 100 million users, and in the last 6 months, they've launched a what's called layer 2. And let me explain this to people. So you have Bitcoin and you have Ethereum. Ethereum allows you like a Lego set where you can build new things with Ethereum. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is Ethereum, to use it, is very slow. So what developers are doing is build these what are called side chains that you can build other types of digital infrastructure on top of, and then the layer 2 sits on top of the Ethereum layer 1, and all the transactions eventually settle at the bottom layer on Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum is kind of like the reserve asset, and then you have layer 2s that are built on top of it. Coinbase has built a layer 2 called Base. Now, there is no token for Base. You can invest in it. However, there have been developers who are building digital, decentralized financial infrastructure on top of it. One of these tokens we've invested in Next Wave Crypto Fortunes in the past 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think is that if there is ever a company or ever a way to transition average users from traditional finance into decentralized finance, it is going to be Coinbase that's going to move the needle because they have 100 million users, and it's really easy for them to say, hey, check out, our base, and here are all the different projects that you can use on base. Now, the question is, Amber, why would people want to use decentralized finance?
Right.
And the simple answer is that traditional finance, everything you do, whether it be use your credit card, take out a loan, lend money, invest in a stock, invest in a bond, in traditional finance relies on some type of middleman.
Mm.
And there's a reason why banks like JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citigroup are extremely profitable because they're constantly taking little fees out of every transaction that retail people do and institutional investors do.
Mm.
In the decentralized finance world, those fees are actually given back to the owners or the holders of the cryptocurrency. And it allows anyone who wants to, let's say, be a market maker or to lend an asset out, you can do it on your own. And it's going to unlock more value in assets that you actually own. Your assets, your stocks, your bonds are going to become smart in the same way that Ethereum, is a smart form of money. And that's why I'm excited about decentralized finance. And I think the world is kind of moving towards that as well, because it allows assets to be smart. I mean, think about it. Let me just give you a one way that your assets are going to be smart in the future. If you own Tesla stock, let's say, right? And you own it in a Schwab account, uh, the broker can lend out your stock to someone else and charge them an interest rate. Okay. In stocks that are hard to borrow, that interest rate can be 100% a year annually, right? And that's what the broker's making on the stock that you own. On Tesla, it's low. It's probably about 5 or 6%. But
Mhm.
just think about a little bit on every single stock that you can actually lend to somebody else and act as a lender like a brokerage can when your assets are smart. It's going to unlock a lot of value for people because you can have something like Tesla or like Apple that okay, so you might be getting a dividend from Apple. Then on top of that, you might be getting a percent on how much you can actually loan it out for. And so that's what I mean by being able to unlock inherent value that's in all these securities that the financial system right now is just capitalizing on and we're not partaking in. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm excited about decentralized finance. And the other thing also is that it opens up the global market so that you can transact with anyone in the world at any time of day. Doesn't matter. It's completely permissionless. And you can do that even though you have no economic history with somebody else you're transacting against, which, it can only be done because of the blockchain that
Mhm.
keeps track of who knows what. So that is, and Coinbase is launching the base token, and I think that you're going to see millions of users move into decentralized finance in the coming year because of Coinbase's move. So the second thing I want to talk about, Amber, is the Bitcoin halving that's coming up in just a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
So I just want to share my screen with everyone so you can see this. So this is a chart of Bitcoin. This is a daily chart, which means each one of these candles is 1 day's worth of trading.
Mhm.
And let's go back a year. So last year in Strategic Fortunes, was it the March issue, Amber? We recommended Bitcoin? I think it was March, right?
March, possibly,
Yeah,
yes.
it was like somewhere around 17,000.
Mhm.
We said there's a couple big things coming. The ETF is likely to get approval. And we're also have Bitcoin halving event coming a
Mhm.
year from now, which is what we said last March. On top of that, you've got governments all around the world that are dealing with excess debt because of COVID. And people are looking at Bitcoin as basically an asset that you can buy that's an alternative form of currency. So when the government's printing a lot of dollars, you can own gold, you can own commodities, and now you're seeing you can now own Bitcoin. So we had a rally that started sometime in October into the ETF approval, and that was in January. So you had about a 3-month rally into January 11th. I'm just going to zoom in on what happened here. When the ETFs were approved, 11 of them were approved, and we tagged about 50,000 on Bitcoin, and then we sold off. So we went from about 50,000 down to about 37,000 in a couple weeks, and then we started turning in early January. And since then, we've almost doubled in
Mm.
Bitcoin heading into the halving. Now, there's a little bit of game theory going on because we did have a rally a month ago. So there was a rally ahead of the halving, and then we had a sell off, and we've had this consolidation pattern. So a little bit of technical analysis here. What we're seeing here is what's known as a consolidating flag pattern.
Mhm.
And usually, when you have these what are called bull flags, the next move is the higher probability is to the upside because we went into this with a up move, right? So you have a big move, the move gets digested, and then you see another big move higher. So I think that, by the time the halving comes around in 2 weeks, we could be in between the 85 to $100,000 range
Mm.
in Bitcoin. Now, it's going to get very volatile the days leading to the halving, the days after the halving. So you just got to be very careful. I always say during these bull markets in crypto, buy on red days, buy on days when it's down 10, 15%. Don't buy on days after it's rallied 20 to 30% because you are likely to get chopped up. Um, but again, also take a longer term time frame on this, right?
Yes.
There have been so many technologies that have happened, whether it be personal computers or the internet with .com or biotech, where if you had a 3 or 6 month time horizon, you just got chopped to bits. If
Mm.
you think about Bitcoin on a 5-year or a 10-year horizon, and you have allocated a comfortable amount in your portfolio that you can withstand the volatility, for me, that's about 5%, you're going to be just fine. So think about this on a longer term time frame.
Mhm.
It's going to get really wild, I think, Amber, into the halving and around it. So I just want people just to brace for it. And so that's what's happening in the crypto markets this week. Um,
Lovely.
Yeah. And also don't stare at the sun during the solar eclipse.
I know. I'm not going to look.
You get your solar shades? I got solar shades.
No, I did not. I skipped them this year.
You did? So I don't even know if I'm going to use them. I might not, because they say you have to use these specific like ISO, then there's like a long number. So I looked up those shades on Amazon and I bought them.
Okay.
However, you know, it's like you can just write anything on Amazon, right? Like, and now I'm worried like maybe they're not really ISO compliant. They just wrote that, and you know, it's kind of like, remember when they sold like COVID masks that didn't really work?
Yes, I remember those.
Well, they were kind of like, yeah. So it's like, I don't even know if it's worth the risk to put the solar shades on. I'll look at photos of the eclipse. Exactly. So we only have a partial eclipse here in Florida, by the way, I think.
Only partial. But that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to look, because I didn't know if the glasses I get, I could really trust. So better safe than sorry. We'll see.
Okay. Same here.
Thank you. Well, that's really great information on Bitcoin. Everyone, thank you for watching. And if you're invested in Bitcoin and looking forward to having, please let us know. You can write us at marketinsights@banninghill.com with any of your comments or your questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Amber. And thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care.